Welcome to AH University, brought to you by Aggressive Hydraulics. In this presentation, Tony Casassa, the engineering manager at Aggressive Hydraulics, will help you understand the essentials of hydraulic cylinder sizing. This 5-part series will delve into the primary aspects, including direction, force, distance, speed, and power. Concluding this series, this 5th video centers on the theme of power.
Power requirements. So when we talk about cylinders and we're talking about linear motion, but we can calculate the hydraulic power to meet the requirements. In general, cylinders are basically 100% volumetric efficiency and very close to 100% for mechanical efficiency. There are a little bit of mechanical losses in the seals. By comparison, other components in the hydraulic system, pumps may be 70 to 95% efficient, and then valves and hoses have additional pressure drop, which decrease the efficiency of the overall system. But if we want to determine the power required, we multiply the flow in gallons per minute times the pressure in pounds per square inch, and we divide that by 1714. So if we want to make an example here, 5 gallons a minute at 3,000 psi requires 8.75 horsepower. If that's what we actually require right at the cylinder, we then could back up and say, for example, the overall system efficiency is known to be 70%. Divide 8.75 by 0.7, and it tells us that our prime mover, whether it's an electric motor or some type of engine, needs to be at least 12.5 horsepower. Another question, to increase power, is it better to increase the flow or increase the pressure? And the answer, it depends. In general, increasing the flow is going to require increasing the pump displacement, oftentimes the valve size, often the hose and fitting size, as well as the filter capacity. On the other hand, as long as we're less than 3,000 psi, we're within a pretty common pressure rating for most components, including pumps, valves, hoses. So increasing pressure up to 3,000 psi really has no, or at most a minimal additional cost. There's plenty of components available. However, once we get up above 3,000 psi, but still stay below 5,000 psi, there's going to be a cost increase. There's going to be fewer components available, and we're going to require a thicker cylinder wall. So there are some costs required with going above 3,000 psi, but as long as we stay below 5,000 psi, it's probably not going to be too expensive. On the other hand, once we go above 5,000 psi, it's going to get pretty expensive. There's very limited components available, and therefore the cost on them tends to be higher. It's not always the wrong answer. There's some cases where it makes sense to go up to those higher pressures, but in general, there is a cost associated with it.
This concludes the hydraulic cylinder sizing presentation. Visit aggressivehydraulics.com and try our custom online apps, including our hydraulic cylinder calculators and quoting applications.
Contact us today to start your purpose-built process.